We bring on now a woman who hearts your heart. You see her on the sidelines every Trailblazers basketball game on K2. Brooke Olzendam joining us. Hi, Brooke.
Hello, my friends. How are you guys?
Great. How's Brooklyn treating you?
Well, you know what, Dusty? Insider info. We are not staying in Brooklyn. We're staying in Manhattan, so I have not yet been to Brooklyn. But whenever I do get there tonight, I'm sure it'll treat me right.
How's Manhattan treating you, Brooke?
There you go. It's treating me well. Well, actually, I had a fumble at the beginning of this road trip, which I never do, but I put up like some of my suits and I hung them up in my closet, figuring out what I was going to wear, kind of like trying to figure it out the whole week, and I left a bunch of them in my closet in Utah. So,
No.
Yes. So unfortunately, I had to do a little shopping today, but not a bad place to have to do some shopping, Manhattan. So I was extremely successful.
How does this happen? How do you retrieve those outfits, though? Or does the city of Utah or the city of Salt Lake just own those now?
That's a good question. John, our guy that runs our travel, I've actually known him for decades. He was Indiana Pacers as well, so I've known him for a long time. And so I had my tail between my legs, and I texted him. I was like, John, how you doing? Of course, I'm calling for I did something, but you still have to start off with like, how's it going? What's new in your life? Okay, what I did wrong was, and I told him, and he got me in touch. He's got like a bunch of employees that kind of run the show, so he was very kind. He did say, well, I got married. I was like, oh, congratulations. Now about my suit.
Well,
so he's tracking them down, and I'll get them when I get home, which is just fine. And I'm very, very appreciative because I was so mad at myself.
Now we're watching the game tonight. Everybody will know that Brooke is wearing a brand new outfit that she definitely did not overpay for by being in Manhattan.
Nah.
Not one
Absolutely
bit.
not.
I bet you.
No, honestly, head to toe is new. Even the shoes are new.
Oh, look at that.
It went from an oh no to oh no.
Exactly.
Hey, this is year 6 of Brooke Hearts Your Heart. And you started this in February of 2020. And now you guys this year have shattered the goal. The goal this year was $10,000. You guys have raised, I'm looking at the website right now, $21,317.87 for Brooke Hearts Your Heart. This year alone, that puts you over, you guys are nearing $150,000 for the American Heart Association. Blazer fans has showed up and showed out for Brooke Hearts Your Heart, but we still have one more day in February left. We need to get this push a little bit more. What are people donating for, and what can they get? Because it's not just a money donation that you can get either.
Well, thank you so much for asking. So you can go to trailblazers.com/heart, and there, if you'd like to donate, you can do that right there. It doesn't take very long. It's like a couple minutes. If you're so inclined, I would be so grateful. And if you'd like to, there's not a ton left, but there are some hats and pins. You can bundle those up, or you can just get a hat or a pin. And those proceeds also can go to American Heart Association. Shout out Rip City Clothing for helping me out with that every year. And our creative team. I love the pin this year. It's we've done bigger things in the past, like the scarf and the knit hat and all that. But the pin is really cool because I've seen a lot of people walking around Moda, and they come up and say hi, and they have the pin on the scarf or the pin on the hat. So that's been a fun thing this year. But yeah, go to trailblazers.com/heart. And again, I just want to say thank you to everyone who has donated. It's been humbling. I'm so grateful. Every year I'm like, are we going to be able to do it again? Are we going to be able to do it again? I have like a little nervous attack, like, just because everyone's always so generous in the past. I'm like, are they going to donate it again? Are we going to get there? And like you said, Rip City shows up and shows out. And I just want to say thank you to so many people who have donated and got the hat and the pin, or either or, and just been a part of this. Because to answer your question, Jesse, like I said, the proceeds go to American Heart Association. What they do there is obviously a ton of research, so we can try to nip this stuff in the bud. Because everyone knows someone in their family and friend group or themselves that have dealt with a heart issue. It strikes everyone in some way or form. So to be able to research this and try to help people just be aware of their health, their heart health, that's huge too. I've had so many people come up to me and say, I went and got checked, and I made some lifestyle changes from it. To the extreme of a friend of mine, I've talked about this before, whose sister, she went and watched that video of Lamar and I think from the first year, talking about how my husband was like very exhausted after cardio, especially running. And that was because his poor heart was working overtime, like 90% harder than an average human to get the blood flow to his heart. And so she sent that video to her sister, who was very fit, and she said it resonated with her because her sister would get extremely tired after running. Sister went and got checked out. The next week was an emergency heart surgery, and just saved her life. So it's stories like that just bring me back to this every year. Like, we got to go strong. We got to do it again. If it just reaches one person like it did in that story, or little life changes, it's worth it. So it's been incredible.
I have ordered the hat and pin.
Oh,
I just got the bundle. We are supporting the cause right now, Brooke. We got it.
I really appreciate that. You guys are the best. Thanks for having me on too to talk about it.
No, Brooke, we always want to have you on no matter what, but especially this time of year, because what you do is important. And you mentioned one person, but you guys have showcased people on the road that have also had these experiences and the changes that it can make. And it's the awareness. And we hear this with all kinds of things, and it's the awareness, but it really is, it's the awareness part of this. And we love that you're willing to come on and talk about, why you did this. And it's not just that it's something you think needs to happen. It's because you were affected by it. And that's I think the most important thing, in the sense of, like, you have a real connection to this, and you genuinely care about people. So we want to make sure that those opportunities are there for you. Like Brooke mentioned, if you want to, you can go to trailblazers.com/heart. Dusty and I both, we want to make sure we get this out there. We'll put it up on socials. If you're not around right now, it'll be there when we get done. But, well, sorry, my voice completely went there. I want to pivot for just a second, because we haven't had a chance to talk to you because you're obviously out on the road. Shaden Sharp did something disgusting the other night, and you got a chance to talk to him, and you asked him to kind of walk him through it. How insane is it to have him walk you through an athletic play that ridiculous and make it seem like it was nothing?
Because for him, like, China is nothing. You know what I mean? It's wild. You're right. But to have him walk me through it was funny, because he was very matter of fact. Shaden, not too high, not too low, and he's just explaining it matter of factly, as if it was just. And then I didn't think I could get there. I made a decision, and while I was in the air. And then my favorite part was at the end. He kind of stopped for a second, and then goes, and it went in.
And it went in.
He really described it to a T.
It is. How do you handle these? Because oftentimes, like, when I do the sideline reporting for the Ducks, like, you have a player who says something so nonchalantly, and in my mind, I'm going, normal people can't do that, right? So when Shaden Sharp is sitting there going, I thought I jumped too early, and then I'm in the air thinking, no, I think I got this, and then I just reached out and did it. I was just sitting there going, I oftentimes linger in the air long enough to have multiple thoughts run through my head.
Yeah, it's wild to me, the pure athleticism from him. And, I was so glad that he was, so obviously honest. But when I asked him, I said, the internet, social media has it as your best. A lot of people believe it's your best one in game. And I love that he was just like, yeah, sometimes people can be like, oh, I don't know, I'm not sure. But he was like, yeah, I think it was my best one. And who can answer that question better than the person himself? So I think we can all together say without a doubt that was his best in-game dunk. I will add, though, he was going through his legs in warm-up, so that should have been a sign that it was going to be a big night for him.
Where is your favorite spot to be in the action? Because the other night you were center court, sitting behind the scorer's table. You got a lot of camera time. You got a lot of camera time in that game. And that was a topic of discussion in our house. Is we were watching that game, and Lindsay said, does Brooke like being right there? Where is your favorite spot to take in the game as a sideline?
That's kind of twofold. That's so funny. Like, so many people have said that to me. And then the number one complaint I have about it is that I can't eat my popcorn in the fourth quarter like I normally do. I always go to maybe your dining room and get popcorn at halftime. I was like, I can't eat popcorn. I'm going to be caught red-handed. So, but to the view of that, I mean, you can't, there's no better seat in the house. So if you're on my side watching the game, I would always choose that seat. But on the flip side, you got to make sure, you just got to be aware that you're going to be on camera a lot. And it's funny because I sit right next to Rasan and Maggie, who are our PR staff for the team. And no one hates being on camera more than Maggie. I was like, Maggie, just so you know, you're going to be a star of the show tonight. At one point, I don't know if anybody noticed, but she was right. It was me and her right on. And so I picked up she was trying to lean out of the shot, but she couldn't. So I put my notepad in front of her face. Like, is this helpful? So that one is great for viewing the game. I'll tell you, it couldn't be more opposite in Washington, and their PR staff laughs about it. They're always very apologetic, but because they, I guess, fail, I don't know what it is, but they have us, and it's been like this since I started. You're walking towards the tunnel, and instead of walking through the tunnel, there are a set of stairs that go up to a perch, and it's like it's like isolated. It's not like attached to any of the seats. It's just a perch up there, and everyone's hit their head on it numerous times, including myself, shocked that no one has fallen down those stairs, especially in heels. So it was funny. We're like, this is crazy. And then I looked over, and the only people that were placed there were Fernando, who runs our social, Casey Holdall, me, and Maggie. And I'm like, isn't it interesting? There's no other their employees up here on this dangerous perch. But that one's probably one of the crazier ones. You kind of have a weird angle, but they're pretty. Arenas are really great. They know you got to be close to the team. And obviously, I'm going to go down and do a hit on the floor, so they do their best to get you to as close as they can to your own bench. So there's really not a bad seat in the house. But yes, I got a lot of camera time that night. I got a lot of texts about it. I was like, I'm sorry, that's where Chauncey stands most of the time. So it was just came with the territory.
Oh, speaking of Tales from the Road, you are, and forgive me for this, notoriously somebody who gets cold.
Yes,
is there an arena in the NBA that is even remotely comfortable for you from a temperature standpoint?
You know what, Brooklyn tonight is not bad. I actually have noticed the temperature in that by far, and I've talked about it before. New Orleans is just the coldest, and that's what I said. It's ironic because that's where they give you a Smoothie King Arena. So I always give it mine to Casey. I'm like, I can't. I would love to. I can't. I'm already freezing. So I'd say tonight, Brooklyn overall. Isn't that funny that I know the temperature of that's a perfect question for me because I'm very well aware of the temperature in every arena. So Brooklyn is too, it kind of has an intimate vibe to it. Like what do they call it? Like theater lighting, where everything looks dark around, and then the spotlight is right on the court. I mean, I think they're still doing that. That's how it's always been since I've been going there and working there. So I kind of have an intimate feel too. I really like it. It's one of my favorite arenas, kind of out of left field, I guess, but it is. I really like it, and it's warmer. So to answer your question, Danny, it's not too bad today. I'm going to be okay.
We have a text on the Vancouver Ford text line about you getting scared by mascots. Do you have a truce? Is the truce intact still with all the mascots in the league?
Well, I talked about this earlier this year or was it last year? I forgot they all done together. Pierre the Pelican, we had an on-camera truce in which he wrote out a whole thing on a big piece of cardboard and said, I promise to not scare Brooke anymore. Or this is Rumble the Bison, excuse me. They all run together. Rumble the Bison, who he asked for a truce, and then he gave me this cute little miniature Rumble the Bison stuffed animal. It seemed very sweet. I signed on my side, he'd signed his, so I thought there was a truce intact. It was, there were witnesses. And then the next game scares the crap out of me. I was like, what happened to our truce? And I know you guys didn't see this, but when we were in Utah, my walk-off interview, as soon as I stepped back, let the player walk around, the Jazz Bear got me. It was off camera, so nobody saw, but I'm like, geez, now we're doing post-game scares. I can't get away from this. But it's been the whole thing. Everybody knows about it, and I will take one for the team every time. And people are like, are you really getting scared? I'm like, no, trust me. I don't know how to act. I can't. It is truly coming from my soul.
I can vouch for this.
Yes.
Brooke scares very easily. Those are natural reactions.
I walked up behind her and been like, hey, Brooke, and she's jumped at me. And I'm like, it's just me.
Yeah.
I don't know what that says about me. I don't think I want to know.
Somebody's unpacking this right now. There's a psychologist listening going, I got this.
He's taking a break from me to psychoanalyze you.
I can nail this right now. But all right, road trip is continuing. And then after tonight, it really ramps up and you start seeing some really good opponents throughout the rest of the way. What have you seen that has impressed you the most about this roster from the growth standpoint? Because a season like this, it can be hard, especially when there's a majority of the fan base that wants this team not to win games,
right.
And they're continuing to play hard and they're winning games.
Which I just love. I'm here for it. I love the thought of the play-in. I think it gives me something really to play for. And the team is, the energy that they bring, and obviously we talk so much, and rightfully so, about Tumani and, Denny when he's going downhill. It's just, they're a fun team when everything's clicking. And you just never know. Like you could see a win that you didn't see coming. They've been keeping them close. Obviously, they've won a couple in a row. They're just a fun team to watch, and there's so many different personalities and different different guys in the way they play that you root for all of them individually, but then of course you root for them as a team. I can understand the part of the fan base that I definitely can understand wanting to get a higher pick in the draft. That always makes sense to me. But at this point, I just really like what they're building, and so why not continue just to see where that goes and continue to fight for something, and that would be that playing spot. And these guys are competitors. That's what they want, the coaching staff as well. So I'm here for it. I love watching them night in and night out. I think they work really hard. They put a lot of time and effort into it, and we've been seeing that over these last 20 games or so. So, yeah, I'm here for trying to get to that play, and I think it would be so much fun. What a fun story, for the season.
All right, we know that you were busy. We appreciate you taking time for us. You had to go get a new outfit today. Now you got to start your pregame preparations that get going
That's what
very
look forward
soon.
to.
Yeah, you go ahead.
What's Brooke wearing?
Yeah, what's Brooke wearing?
We'll revisit on tonight's show too.
Look, Brooke in Brooklyn has got a ring to it.
That sounds like a reality show.
It sounds like
Brooklyn in Brooklyn.
Yeah, what's Brooke wearing in Brooklyn? And we're gonna
I like
find
this.
out tonight. Brooke, thank you so much for the time, and thank you for doing Brooke Hearts Your Heart, because it's not just a great fundraiser for the American Heart Association, but it makes an impact for the people in our community as well. So go to trailblazers.com/heart, where you can donate straight up. Any amount helps, or you can go buy a hat and pin in the bundle and support the American Heart Association and Brooke Olzendam as well. Thank you so much, Brooke.
Guys, thank you so much. You're always such great supports of this during this month and of the foundation, so I appreciate always you guys having me on it so I can talk about it. And, yeah, I love it. The final push, last day of February. So thank you again to everyone who's donated and the plans, too. It means a lot to me.
Have a great call tonight, Brooke.
Thanks, guys.
Bye, Brooke.
All right, there she is, Brooke Olzendam, Portland Trailblazers sideline reporter. Again, Brooke Hearts Your Heart. Go to blazers.com/heart, and you can donate, or you can buy a hat and pin as well. So awesome. And it's great to see the support that Rip City shows her every single year, going over $20,000 this season alone.